Welcome to season 2 of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. This year, we're working on that energy. Join us as we talk midlife discoveries, spiritual awakenings, pursuing passions, reconnecting with the goddess within, and a whole bunch of other shit. Make sure to follow our socials and join us on Instagram Live Tuesday nights, YouTube Live Thursday nights. If you're looking for bonus content, episode archives, or just another way to connect with us, check us out on Patreon. Thanks for all the love and support. Now let's get to it. Every week, there's a new email about how to treat positive COVID cases in your child's class. And there's like, one every week at least. Yeah. So one week I'm like, oh, I got to go get her tested. And the other week it's like, oh, I got to keep her home. Another week, oh, she can go because she's got her vaccines and she can just wear a mask. Oh, okay. Like you never know.
That's confusing.
What to do. Yes.
Hey girl, this is a whole new day.
How have you been?
Girl, I've been surviving. We were talking about fear the other day.
Last week. Yeah, last week.
And it just got
I'm still messed up from that conversation.
Yeah, I literally am. But it got me to thinking, it's like with all this pandemic stuff going on,
oh,
I don't know what's real. I don't know what's not real. I don't know how to act, what's acceptable. Like, I feel like so many things are up in the air with this pandemic that have made life worse. And it's just increased fear. And they've used it as a way to control us. And it's like, why?
I look at it the other way, too, is I feel like people are so afraid that they won't comply with some basic stuff so that we can get past all this mess, right? That culture of fear that we talked about last week, I feel like it's embedded and in place now to the point where we say, if somebody with the degrees and decades of experience in science says, hey, you need to do this. And they're like, you're not going to tell me what to do because I don't trust you.
Yeah.
It's like...
But I mean, I feel like there's a healthy amount of that to criticality. You don't want to just start complying just because somebody said it. A corporation for sure, like we were talking about last week, is probably paying that person too. Like you got to follow the money. Like I like to look and see where people are investing. Big pharma, a lot of politicians have big money in big pharma. And so it's just like, what is for the greater good and what is for your own personal benefit?
I'm saying even before all that, from the very, very beginning. Like, I mean, everybody knows I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump, but he said, stay your ass at home. There was a point where we all had to stay our ass at home.
Yeah, I hated that.
Right. And there was a lot of push about, well, the economy, this, if everybody had stayed their ass at home the way they were supposed to, and I'm talking everybody, like, look, you need to get your groceries for 2 weeks and stay your ass at home. Ain't nobody going to be no essential workers at Safeway or at Aldi or whatever the store is, right? We're not going to have nobody at the gas station, nothing. We are shutting the whole country down. 2 weeks. Stay home. Nobody could do that.
He should have done it because then afterwards he was like, okay, this is ridiculous. And but you didn't do anything. The little mini.
You can't half close it down.
Yeah.
You have to shut it down. And then let the thing die out. Nobody's coming in these borders. Nobody's going out these borders. You're staying on the cruise ship over here in the Bay Area in California. You ain't getting off the whatever, right? I mean, that's like them having that cruise ship that came up here with COVID and telling people they can come off and on whenever they wanted. That doesn't make sense.
I don't remember that. What was this?
There was a cruise ship that was docked here in California with COVID on it. And this was like in January or February of 2020. And they didn't let people off the ship. They were on the ship for weeks, if not months. You could not come off the ship.
Yeah, I remember that was sad. Some people jumped off. Yeah, that was sad.
Because they had COVID. And but the way we did it as a country was like, hey, you on the cruise ship, come off if you want to, go get your groceries and go back on the cruise ship. Like, no, you have to shut it down. Right? Like it's I feel like it's almost it's common sense as far as the science goes, that if you do not give this virus hosts to spread to, it will die. So we have to limit the amount of spread, the ability to spread. And the only way to really successfully do that, I mean, people in China, they were sealing your doors off. You were not leaving your house.
They're still doing that. Remember we saw the thing with the girl?
Oh, yeah.
The blind date. There was a girl, her family was setting her up, I think, with 10 guys. And
okay,
she was on one of the blind dates with the guy. And she it was so funny because she was like, he
place?
was kind of boring. Yeah. She was like, he was kind of boring. And he didn't really say much, but he cooked for her and everything.
Oh.
And then before she could leave, the town had the COVID cases, so they shut down. And so they quarantined, like you have to stop wherever you are and you can't go anywhere. Dang. And so the fact that's a good point, because think about it, the population compared to our population.
And
they got it under control.
You have to be drastic about it. I think that, and this kind of goes back to our
it's too late
last week about culture. Yeah, it's too late.
I ain't doing nothing. I'm one of them.
But you can't tell. You can't tell Americans to do anything. We will not sacrifice our person. Like, and this is something that I used to think was very American, but it's not. We will not sacrifice our bit of comfort for the betterment of anybody else. Like, we are very selfish. And I feel like some discomfort, a little for the greater good. That's all that's all that's being asked or was asked. People can't even wear a mask. But it's poor leadership
too. I mean, Absolutely. If you tell people you got to do it, you got to do it. Period.
Right. And then you got to enforce it.
You got to enforce it. Exactly. We see what happens. Let's see. We gonna have World War III? Like, I don't know. Let's see.
Well, here's my thing though. Here's my thing is, if it were wartime, would people have complied?
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like, stay in your house, because out there's enemies.
Yep.
People would stay in their house. People didn't believe this was a real threat. This virus was real.
Yeah.
Or it didn't affect
people.
Yes, it didn't affect as many people. It's only the old and the sickly. So I don't care.
And it's like, I'm so confused with this Omicron stuff, because it's like, it's not as deadly.
You want to say Omarion.
It's not as deadly as the Delta or whatever, but
it's more contagious.
Hospitals are supposedly, it's more contagious, but isn't the flu contagious? Like, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, this is going to go into the regular flu. Let's just live. Like,
I think it will.
Like, what are we holding on? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I feel like if you're compromising, you don't have to make those, like, there's certain things that you have to do. Like, at a certain point, you got to take accountability for yourself. The whole world can't be like locked up for you. Like, I feel like in the beginning, but they'd fuck that up. So now we got to get on with our lives, and nobody is giving any kind of guidance. Like, we're still in a state of stuff is closed up. Like, I don't even know what the state we are. Like, it's so confusing.
This is how messed up it is, though, is I feel like, how is it that you can go to a restaurant and take your mask off and eat indoors? You have to prove you're vaxxed. You can't sit down inside a restaurant without proof of vaccination.
Here they have a sign that says you do, but nobody checks.
Oh, they're crazy about it here. You got to have your card, or you have to have that app or whatever.
I think I went to 2 or 3 places where they check. Yeah.
And that goes for kids too. I went with my daughter to go grab something to eat after a doctor appointment, and she had to show her proof of vaccination. She's 8.
For kids? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she looks older. I don't know, but I had to show hers as well. So, but I still don't understand, like, how I'm gonna be in this room with a whole bunch of other people and I could take my mask off.
And the vaccination doesn't stop you from spreading it. So
from getting it, and I can eat, and then I put my mask back on to walk out. Like, or if I have to go to the bathroom, I have to put my mask back on to walk to the bathroom. Like, what's the etiquette? Is it etiquette? What are the rules?
Right. And then I think, was it you? I think, or we were talking about it with our friend about how the schools are confused. And so, like, some of the schools, I think it was Oklahoma you had mentioned, like they somewhere in Oklahoma where the bus drivers were teaching at school. I mean, the bus drivers
parents were driving because so many people at the start of the school in January, it was bad. Everybody had Omicron. And so, like, in Oklahoma, one of my friends shared a news article with me, and it showed that there were parents that were having to volunteer as bus drivers. And I don't even know if you have to have a special license to do all that.
Yeah, I would think.
They had janitors teaching classes, right? Because there were like 300 staff in this certain school district that were gone. They were just out. And it hit our school district too. We had like, I think 8 teachers that very first week had to bow out. They had COVID. They couldn't come to school.
Yeah. Like the flu is no joke. Like I think people minimize the flu and trivialize it, but people die from the flu every year too.
Every year.
And so I'm not saying this is fake. Like people are definitely sick on their asses and can't function. And there's no systems in place.
Well, like, my fear,
contingency plans.
My fear or my concern is that people aren't taking it that seriously, because they're saying, oh, well, actually more people have died from the flu than whatever. There was one statistic that showed that more people are dying from the flu than COVID or whatever. But my thing is, we have had the flu for 100 years.
We know
we have had COVID for like 2 years or 3 years. We don't know what's going to happen to you in 10 years. Are your lungs just going to drop out? Like what's there? I mean, we don't know.
Aren't these coronaviruses all part of, like, that's what confuses me. I don't really understand. Oh, shoot. We should have had Country Saucella come up in here.
Yeah.
Because aren't these coronaviruses?
Well, they did talk about people who had COVID earlier on. They've seen scarring in the tissues in their lungs. So it's almost like, well, you don't know. Again, you don't know. And I think that's part of the distrust and the fear of that, is you don't know what it is or how it will affect you. You get long COVID or whatever that is. I think people, even though it's a flu-ish type situation, you still have to have caution about it. Some people are just very whatever about it. And I would rather not have it. Okay. I don't care if I'm vaccinated.
That's the thing. Like, it's like, I don't care if you don't believe in it, whatever. Don't spit on people. Don't cough on people. Ooh. Don't do all this stupid stuff that I see people out here doing. And then what's going on with this lady who said something, her children aren't coming to school with a mask. And so,
Virginia.
Yeah. She gonna bring a gun.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So these school districts, these school board meetings, school district meetings are getting lit. Like, people are getting crazy. Because kids have to wear masks to go to school in most schools that I've heard of, seen of. I mean, I'm in California, so everybody got to wear a mask everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Middle America is doing, or the South, or
but that is a lot to be sitting in a mask all day at school, 8 hours or however long, 7 hours a day.
They don't have to wear them outside.
Oh, okay.
If they're playing, I don't believe so. But I don't see it being that. I don't think it's that serious. I mean, if that's what you have to do
it the next couple of days and see the report.
I have when I went to Portland and up there, like on the plane and whatever, wearing a mask all day, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially if you have to talk and do all this kind of stuff or whatever. But if that's what we have to do to keep them safe, condoms are uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, bras are uncomfortable, but we got to put on a bra.
But how does it keep them safe? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, I know, like, for our school, they put in measures. I mean, it's not just one thing. Like, the mask is going to save everybody's life. Like, wear your mask and you're safe. Nobody's claiming that.
Okay.
But it's an added layer. That's what I
understand. People are claiming. That's why I'm like,
people get mad because they think that that's like everybody's holding up the mask as the savior of whatever. I don't think that's what it is. And I think they need to not look at it that way. It's one layer of protection. So they have HEPA filters now and new filtration in the schools that can afford it. Like, our school put in new whatevers, right? Yeah. They move the desks so that they're not sitting. They used to sit communally at tables at my daughter's school, 6 to a table or whatever, 4 to a table. Now they've moved it out. So everybody is, I think it's 3 to 4 feet for children. So that was their kind of situation. What else do they do? Like, I mean, there's other things they're doing. A mask is one of those things. So I think, this is not the hill to die on or whatever. Like, that woman was talking about shooting up or bringing loaded guns if her child has to wear a mask. Like, is it that serious? Like, really?
But it's all fundamental, like, and it goes back to, like, we were talking about on the other episode, like, fear and the need to control. And it seems like that's what people have and then also poor guidance. Like, there's no leadership. I don't care what anybody says. I have not seen any exemplary leadership in this pandemic. And we have schools that are like, oh, kid has COVID, can't come to school. No, now you have COVID, you can come to school, just wear a mask if you have like, it's inconsistent and then now I think it was like, you could come to school in some school districts you had to like quarantine for 10 days. Now it's 5 days.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, like,
And
I
it
could
differs
see,
from state to state,
yeah.
from district to district, county to county, from day to day. Like it's the
Yeah.
stuff I'm getting emails all the time that's like, oh, the guidance has changed from the county or center of health or whatever it is. So now you can do a modified quarantine. Or if you're vaccinated, you can do this. Or, oh, you have to test within 3 to 5. Like every week, there's a new email about how to treat positive COVID cases in your child's class. And
it's
there's
like, how
one
do you
every
deal
week
with
at
that?
least. Yeah. So one week I'm like, oh, I got to go get her tested. And the other week it's like, oh, I got to keep her home. Another week, oh, she can go because she's got her vaccines and she can just wear a mask. Oh, okay. Like you never
That's
know what to
confusing.
do. Yes. At some point, I'm just kind of like, well, could you just give her some assignments and she could sit her butt here on the computer or whatever they
Didn't
were
that happen in
doing?
Chicago? Like where people were upset, the teachers, what is it, CPS,
Oh,
Chicago Public?
they had to close the school down for a day or something, or
Yeah,
because they
because the
didn't have
teachers were like,
online.
this is ridiculous. We need to have online classes. And they're like, no, you need to go. And so they were like, no, we're not doing it. And I don't know. What was that about? Let me look.
I feel like while you're looking that up, I feel like there was a lot of buy-in in 2021. We knew that the kids couldn't get vaccinated, so the safest thing would be for them and for the teachers to do online instruction, right? So parents were, I mean, we hated it, but we understood. Now it's kind of like back and forth, school closures, you got to keep your kid home, all this kind of stuff. We're in limbo. And I really wonder, like, are we thinking about these kids?
Kids?
Like, are they
No.
learning what they're supposed to learn
Well, they weren't
emotionally?
learning in the
Like,
first place.
are they beefing up counseling and maybe having stuff like that for the kids at school? Because this is, I mean, kids are resilient and these kids are amazing, right? So like my daughter, her friends, like all these kids are great. But are we doing them I mean, this is their childhood trauma. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this
It's
is
so
what are we doing to help
confusing.
them navigate this?
No consistency. Like, welcome to, I guess that's
Nothing.
a welcome to America, kids. Like, here you go.
As
I don't
frustrating as
know.
it is for the parents, like I wonder how the kids are faring. And that concerns me more than anything is their physical health and their mental health and their emotional health, their social health, all that. I mean, school is a place where you see your friends and you play and I mean, all that stuff. You're stressing me out, girl.
Yeah. If it stresses you, I know the kids may not even know it's stressing them out.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't know how to process these icky or weird, strange, confusing feelings. So I don't know.
And then the teachers, I mean, I feel people give teachers crap.
Oh yeah.
And
we got to check in on our teachers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like they have to navigate this too. And they are the ones that have our children during the day. And they have to keep an eye on their feelings and their understanding, as well as educate their minds. And it's just, that's a lot. And they also have to be exposed to COVID on a regular basis, it seems like, when these kids catch it. So that's a lot. So I appreciate you, teachers.
Yes, we appreciate you. Yeah, I was just talking to a teacher the other day on one of these apps, and he was saying that he works with autistic kids. And
how's that?
He's just making the best of it. But yeah, he's in person. And so just trying to,
I feel like you have to, like, when you're dealing with differently abled kids, special needs.
Yeah.
How do you do that over? You can't do that over a computer.
Yeah, that's
depending
hard.
on where they are on the spectrum or what their needs are. And then having them wear a mask. How do you, like a lot of
people
things.
keep it on. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't, we need to do better by our kids. And we need to give, I think, parents more resources to help in that. Because I think, for the most part, parents are on board, whatever we can do to keep everybody safe.
Yeah. He said
unless it's wearing a mask.
He said they have to keep the windows open, so they must not have that HEPA filter or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's up here 21 degrees and you got the windows open with the kids.
Oh my gosh. I know when they first went back to school, my daughter's class, they said pack a towel, like a beach towel or something. And they did class outside for the most part. Just because nobody knew what the deal was, wear masks to school, whatever, but we're going to do class outside as much as possible. So everybody was just spread out outside. I mean, these are unprecedented times, I feel like. Maybe they're not, I don't know, because we've had pandemics before, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're acting like we don't know how to do things. Like this has happened before,
Mhm.
right? Like we've had
But
things
that's what I'm
before.
saying. Is it social media? Is it media?
Mm.
Or is it just the amount of people that we have in the world? Because we had the Hong Kong flu. That's not what I call it. You go on the CDC and look it up. Hong Kong flu in 68. And by the time they figured out a vaccine, it was too late. It had already like become part of the regular flu vax, like the flu virus that comes around every year. So they didn't do anything. They had Woodstock, all kind of stuff happened during those years.
How many people
And
died though? I
a
wonder.
million, I think, I want to say.
Wow.
This is a million globally, though, I think. But then also the population was smaller as well. I mean, when you look back at it. So it's like, why would, like, that's a lot of people dead that you don't even hear about. Like, why?
I also think it was like perfect timing in the sense that we had Donald Trump as the president who, and this isn't a political statement, he was very public. He was on the news every day. He had daily press briefings and he would go to them and be part of them, not just his press secretary, right? Like he put himself out there in the media. So it made people consume news at a much higher rate. And I feel like we are more aware of missteps and all kinds of things because of the fact that we were so, like, I don't know, addicted to this news that we were getting every single day to see what ridiculous things he was going to say or what he was going to do or whatever. And I think that's where we got the information, like the task force that was put together during the Obama administration. He got rid of that. That could have helped as far as like the stockpile of masks and it was a pandemic. What was it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
Obama
don't
had
remember, like a pandemic readiness or something.
Yeah. And that he was like, we'll do it along with everything else Obama did. Let's do away with that. Right. And then, of course, Murphy's Law, we get a pandemic.
And then Bill Gates had like, it's like, I gotta look. It's like, is that something that was normal? Like Bill Gates had a pandemic, what do you call those? Like a simulation or something, like a year before the pandemic came out. And it's kind of like, I can see how people could be like conspiracy theorists. It's like, dang, if you were doing all this stuff and then we still, like, it didn't help anything. Like, it's like, what were the point of like in doing this? Like,
I think if we're talking conspiracies and stuff like that, I feel like one of my major concerns is if this is a test run for something, or if the whole world is watching the whole world, right? We're watching to see, I remember watching Italy and they were all locked down, people playing the violin on their balconies. And, they were locked all the way down in Italy because it was really bad. So I know people are watching us here and they're saying, dang, like this is where they did well. This is where they messed up. There are a lot of people who hate us. And if we can't keep it together with, I guess this would be a biological situation. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of warfare. And I don't think that we are looking or doing our best to keep ourselves protected from any kind of threat if we show that we don't give a shit enough to put a mask on. So
exactly, we look stupid.
Yeah.
And we look chaotic and we look so vulnerable. Like, who knows what can happen? Because I think people are old school thinking about people dropping bombs. It's not a bomb anymore. It's going to be cyber or biological.
Yeah.
That's the way they're going to get you. Going to get you where it
and
hurts.
we're not. This is the sad thing is when you think about like, and this is going to sound whatever, boomers, right? They suck at technology. You can't tell them nothing. Like, here's a Bluetooth thing to work out. Oh, can't figure it out. I don't like it.
Stereotype.
Well, every boomer in my life that I have encountered is like averse to technology. Like they need help with everything, like everything. They'll get it, but you got to sit there and you really got to explain, blah, blah, blah. Like Gen Xers, like we grew up one foot, straddling the line of technology. So we kind of have the best of both worlds, I feel like. And then everybody that's come after us, I mean, you could show a 3-year-old a phone and they'll show you how to do everything.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
So my thing is, they're thinking a lot of the people who are in charge are boomers, like the government, whatever. And it's like that a lot of people are thinking bombs and things like that, like you said. But I think it is going to be cyber. We've had cyber attacks and we're not ready. And we have the technology and the brain power. We've got all these amazing, smart people who could be working for the government if they made that a priority, and we could be protected on the cyber front. And then look at us showing our asses with the biological, what kind of defense do we have?
Yeah, and that happened. I think hospital, I think, was hacked. I don't know if that's real life or Grey's Anatomy.
Gas.
That could be both. Gas company. That was a big one. And then I think electrical has even been hacked. So like all these different types of things happening, like
an election.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those have been rigged. But then, like, with the supply chain already fucked up, one glitch in the system, done. People gonna die. So it's just like, it goes back to, like, we were talking about fear. It's just like, for me with this COVID stuff, it actually made me hate life even more. Cause I'm like, what are we fighting for? What's the point? Like, what's the end game? What's the end goal? Like, I don't care. Give me COVID. I'm done. Bye. Like, I don't need to be here.
God.
What's the benefit? What's the benefit?
To do this podcast, girl.
To be discriminated against, to be hated, to be vilified. Like, I don't know.
How do we fix this stuff though? Like, I feel like there's either you want to bow out and you don't want to deal with it anymore, or you want to flip the table over and start fixing shit. You know what I mean? Like, those are the two, or you're just floating through life.
And I think that's what most people choose, is just to float. Because it's the only way to survive. It's like to float through life, live in your little bubble, control what you can control, and that's it.
It's frustrating.
It is. I think because we're the type of people who want to make a difference, maybe, who want to help. Because I think most people are just perfectly comfortable just being like, okay, everything's effed up, but who cares? And my little bubble's okay, great. Woo-hoo. But it's like that thing. It's like, your bubble's okay for now, but you keep worrying about only your bubble, then other people's bubble's going to trickle on you.
Yeah, pop right up next to yours.
Exactly.
And then you end up with, you know what? That's, people don't care. Like, here's another issue. Gosh, it's like, we're just all over the place, but homelessness is,
I was thinking
insane. And it used to be just in these areas, and now it's everywhere. And it's kind of like the urban camping, or whatever you want to call it. Like, they're full on tent cities everywhere that I went up to Portland. It was like that in Portland. Here in the Bay Area, San Francisco, San Jose, you can't see any patch of grass or anything that doesn't have a little community set up in it. I don't know what else to call it. It's just a whole bunch of tents and tarps and people. I wonder about that.
I went walking along the riverbank on a date.
Oh, look
and it was
so
nice. It was cute.
What?
It was cute. And then, we get up to the part, and it's tents. Like, people set up their tents.
Kill the vibe.
And it's just like, that's sad. Like, and it's homelessness and drug abuse and murder are a big thing here. And you can keep thinking that's other people's problem, but those people got to go somewhere. They're gonna be right on your front yard,
on your front step. Yep. But that's the only way people are going to care, because if it doesn't touch them, they don't care.
Yeah.
They view it as someone else's problem, or they view it as, what choices did you make that you live in like that? And it's not always that easy to to kind of categorize or explain, like, they did something bad, so now they're homeless. Like, that's not always the case.
Exactly. And sometimes I feel like homelessness is a level of freedom, because you're off the grid, you're not being tracked, you're living a life according to your rules. It may be harder, but you're living your life according to your own rules. And so I can't even imagine.
I'm good though on that.
As a woman, I ain't gonna be in these streets. I ain't trying to be. I mean, I've definitely been homeless before, but luckily I have friends. So, I got to sleep on a couch. But yeah, I can't imagine. But it's just frustrating because I don't know. I feel like this pandemic has shown all of the inefficiencies in everything that we do. People weren't ready. And I can see 2020 being ready, but now you had 2 years to figure stuff out and you still haven't. I'm can't book a doctor's appointment. Like I have to wait months to go to see a doctor in like the fourth or fifth largest city in the United States. It doesn't make any sense. And just even little things like Instacart, everything is wrong all the time. Like people are just spaced out. Like I feel like there's no accountability. There's no something I don't know how to articulate it.
Something's missing.
Off. Yeah,
something's off. Yeah,
something is missing.
I hear you. And I think that's like well, I don't know what the super rich people or the in charge people are feeling.
They living life as usual.
But it's just it's something's not this. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just like a blanket of mental health problems just covering the country, but it's not, something's not right. And I think
mental health isn't new. And it's just like,
but I think it's on the rise where we've hit a point where a lot of people can't deal with it anymore. Like this is, I need help because I've been in the house for 2 years, that kind of a help. Like, I don't know how to do this. People have to deal with their kids now where they didn't have to deal with them before.
Yeah.
They have to deal with their spouses. Their problems. Yep. You know what I mean? Like just a whole,
right.
I just don't understand like the supply chain you were mentioning earlier. If we've had 2 years, why is it taking me over a month to get a box of KN95s for my kids?
Right.
I just didn't China or Korea or somewhere. Why don't we have jobs here? Hire some people. Let's make some masks. Like what's going on?
Well, didn't they make some trillions of masks or something now? The government?
Okay, so why can't I get on wherever and buy them and have them here?
They're
Amazon
not ready
style.
Yet. Oh, those are the free ones though. I already ordered that. That's not gonna help me.
But I'm just saying, like, if you go on Amazon, let's just say, or if you go, I don't know where else you could buy the N95 or KN95 mask, not the little flimsy surgical mask or whatever.
Mask,
yeah. Why aren't we beefing up on that? Like, if that's what's recommended.
Yeah, because isn't that the National Guard is out here driving buses and like they basically, I don't, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really understand what the National Guard did, but the more I hear, it's like they're filling in gaps like of where things are lacking because of the pandemic. And so I'm like, they had the ability to make these masks for the free government, so why not make them for, like, I don't know, like maybe we can have somebody on here to help us better understand that, because maybe there's a perfect explanation for this. But it doesn't make any sense to me, because I think what the problem is not the pandemic itself. I think the pandemic happened and it showed weaknesses that were already in the system.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
I agree.
Messed up system, because we were, the people were floating by like, oh, well, nothing happened, so we're all good. And then boom.
We don't have processes in place, set ways of doing things, ways to call up. What was it that they were talking about with Trump to activate some kind of emergency production of stuff where you could take companies. They did it in wartime. I know they did it in like World War II.
What was he?
You change the company, like manufacturers. Hey, you're going to stop making cars for a second and you're going to switch over and do this now. Yes. You got to make this.
They did that for a little bit with hand sanitizer, like distilleries were making hand sanitizer.
I hate the way some of those sanitizers smell like stank margaritas.
Yeah, not stank margarita.
Yeah, like
what's real?
Something lime, some kind of.
I always keep my hand sanitizer before the pandemic, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you brought that up too, about how the pandemic shown, like, were people not washing their hands? Like, what were you doing?
They weren't.
What was your hygiene? I've been to
plenty of parties where people ain't had no damn soap in the bathroom. I'm like, what?
How do you not have soap in the bathroom?
How you not have soap? Like, do I need to go in your shower and get your shower gel and wash my damn hands?
If there's shower gel.
Right?
There's no loofah.
And that was all too common. Like, and I'm just like, what would you say?
I said there's no loofah. They ain't washing their legs.
I thought you said lube. I'm like, dang, is this a thing?
Oh, they have that. Nasty.
Just nasty. And, just having used public bathrooms and the amount of people who be walking out without washing their hands.
That's disgusting. Or washing without soap.
Yeah, or just be taking one hand and put water on it and walk out.
Nasty. And then go back to their table at a restaurant and eat with their hands.
Right? Nasty asses.
Oh.
Literally.
No home training. That's the home training right there.
Right? Can we just start a commune? I feel like these things are fun to talk about, not even fun. They're pissing me off to talk about.
Right.
There's no change. So we need to become one of those delusional people and just control what we can, have our little commune. And as long as the government or nobody's encroaching on it, then live our lives. Like
grow our own fruit, you know,
right?
and vegetables and do our thing. And yeah.
And that's another thing. It's
That'd
like,
be
dang, do
beautiful.
we really need to start growing food? Because it's like they be out of everything in the store. Yep. Is there going to come a point where you're going to be like, shit, I don't have any food? Like stock up on cans. Yeah, that's fine. But I need something sustainable.
Is that the fear that's taking over though? Is that another thing? Like it's fear. Like we're going to run out of food. Oh my gosh. Like, are we really going to run out of food?
I think there's a part of life that's just fear-based. Like that's a part of just being human and surviving.
But the fear of like, do I need to grow my own food? Like, I can't think of another time in my life where I've been like, I need to grow my own food because we may not have food. That's scary. Like that's a scary
we should have been growing our own food. Like,
I feel like growing food. I don't know what you're doing. You need to go get you a little patch of garden somewhere.
But could you survive on the food that you're growing? Like that's what I'm saying. Do you grow beans and think like I would need to be able to survive on the food that I'm growing? And so
Sean wants to get like animals. I mean, we're not we're not vegan, so whatever. But he wants pigs and chickens and
I want a whole farm.
I don't.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to have all that. Like I'm okay eating all that stuff. I'm not trying to raise them and then kill them.
Yeah, at least you know where it came from.
Yeah,
but for me, it's like I just need stuff to be able to survive. And it's like, do I even care that much? Like a part of me is just like, I don't even care that much. It's just gonna get to that point.
Girl, you have to stop talking like this. People are gonna be calling helplines on your behalf.
Fighting for this. Like, what the hell am I fighting for? For what? For what?
I don't know.
To be able to live?
We need something to look forward to. I think that's what it is. I feel like there's none of that. Like there's not like what are we looking forward to? I feel like there was maybe 2020 when we were at home. We were like, oh, after this year,
it was new.
It's gonna be and then you woke up 2021, same shit. Yeah. In 2022, same shit. Okay, so and then you can't even look forward to like new elections or nothing. There's no good TV. I mean, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Euphoria back.
I haven't even. I don't know if you watched
Ozark
The Righteous Gemstones. Have you ever watched the Righteous Gemstones? That's something like we watch. It's funny. It's stupid funny, but it kind of makes fun of evangelical Christian mega churches, and it's kind of funny. Yeah,
I'm all caught up with part 1 of Ozark. That was good.
I have to get back on that.
But it's like, dang, Netflix. But like I said, wouldn't that be something like we created a society where everyone is pretty much dependent on technology and everything else, and then bam, zap it up with all these glitches in the supply chain.
And that's what's gonna happen. I mean, at some point, I feel like this is going to crash, and then
I need to make my bunker.
we're going to be put back into a place where we need to figure out how to live without iPhones and like Wi-Fi and all that stuff.
Because that stuff is still physical space and energy and stuff. Servers, they got cables and stuff all in the oceans and stuff. This is not just like air. I think people a lot of times think like this stuff is air. It's not.
Well, I mean, Facebook went down for a day and everybody was like, oh my God. Like they didn't know what to do.
And I trivialize that, but it's not Facebook. People don't understand. Facebook uses like 2-factor authentication or something like that. So a lot of times people use Facebook to validate other apps. So if I have my security system, which why would you do that? I don't know. But if I have my security system and I need Facebook in order to get into it, then it's like you're screwed for the whole day. So it's not just
same with
like,
Google. Google does the same thing.
Yeah, Google was down too. Google will go down here or there, like for a couple hours or like, and then it's like you think you're losing your mind and you go online. It's like, oh, it's a mass outage. But I feel like Facebook, Amazon Web Services had a big outage a couple years ago or last year, and it's just like these things. Like they fix it, but then they never tell you what happened. It's like, are these hacking attempts? Like,
can I trust this?
Yeah. Can I trust this? So we need to find ways to, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, maybe a landline. I'm like, what can you do from your own self?
Who has a landline anymore?
A lot of people because of that. Yeah, a lot of people do.
I have friends who have landlines. Like
because of like security systems and because of the mobile networks go down, you can at least have the landline. But I don't even know, do those go down? Like, I don't know how that works. Do I need a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, like, if a pole goes down or something, I think the landline would be
then
dead.
You're screwed.
I mean, what are we talking? Are we getting ready to bug out? We got to get our bug out bags together and dig a bunker.
Nah, I'm gonna just get me some Corona or something and have about 20 of those and call it a night. Can you die from that?
I cannot. I can't.
I'm gonna get me some tequila and just drink enough to fall asleep. I'll be like those guys playing the guitar. I mean the violin of the ship going down.
Titanic.
That's it. I ain't fighting.
But it's not even fighting. Like if stuff goes down, what are you gonna like?
Yeah, your survival instinct is gonna kick in. Like even if I talk all this stuff, but it's something that you
gotta take care of them cats. You gotta do it for you can't just leave them.
Nah, they don't need to be living. They old. They didn't have a nice life. Right? I do need to find a guardian. If anybody wants to be a guardian for my cats, I'm looking.
Girl, you ain't going nowhere. Stop it.
Put
anyways.
You get a lump sum too.
Covix.
Yeah. I can't. This COVID life has just changed, and I think it's fucked up people's mental their brains.
Yes.
See, look, perfect example. People can't communicate. It's like dating world sucks. People are out here. Oh, look at my COVID vaccine. Okay, great. How's your STD vaccine? Like your STD testing. But people like don't communicate, and yes, it's been more acceptable that we have mental health problems, but then we don't have providers who are able to help us with that.
Yeah.
So then it's like we're just out here all sitting with mental health problems that are going uncared for.
Self-medicating.
Self-medication or like people looking online like for guidance and like from Reddit and stuff like that. Like there's no
not
guidance.
Reddit. Ooh.
Right? There's no guidance.
Getting mental health guidance on Reddit.
That's the worst place to get.
Lord.
To get any kind of guidance. But hey, I mean, there's nothing out there. And so for me, I decided that I'm gonna have to take measures into my own hands, and I'm just gonna freaking probably go to Peru. I gotta go see a shaman. Like I need my mind to reset.
I want to go to like an ayahuasca retreat.
Yeah, New Mexico. I'm thinking maybe, because who knows how long this pandemic is going to take. But I need someone to basically clean my mind.
Put me under. What does that mean?
I don't know, but they have magical ways of doing things. They tap into that ego and they tap into your brain. I don't know how they do it, but I want to surrender. Just tap in, take away all this bullshit in my head, this programming and these false beliefs and things like that. Take them out of my head and let's keep it moving.
You need one of the Men in Black zapper things. You need Tommy Lee Jones to be like, zip.
Right.
If only.
Because it's like, I can't, good. This is not sustainable. This is not sustainable.
Good. That does sound good though. Surrender. Like that. No, for like just to surrender. Like,
yeah.
Because it's hard. It's heavy carrying all this worry. I think it's, I'm asking you, can you tell me, is this worry that I'm feeling?
Jokes.
No, but like, I mean, sometimes I do feel like, what is it? It's a heaviness. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Same.
But it's
a burden.
Too heavy to bear. Yeah. It's too heavy. And it's almost like breaking, having to carry it all. So you just want to unload and just heal me.
Right.
Does that sound crazy?
Yeah. And it's like people don't understand that kind of stuff, so they kind of shun it. But
people will say turn to God. That's where religion comes in. That's where.
And now I understand religion. Like it took this pandemic, but I completely understand religion. Like I think we all don't really believe in religion, and when it boils down to it, I think most people don't. But it's just like it's a way to understand the world and let go, because as humans you can't control anything, and we really have a desire to control things, and it's a way to say, this is greater than me. I cannot control it. I'm surrendering myself to God. I let go. I let God, and God will provide. And then that's kind of like, then you get into the problem when God's not providing and people, they vacillate. And it's just like, you can't always be dependent on, like, I don't know. You can't always be dependent on something else outside of yourself. So why don't you just clean yourself up? If I can, that's what I want to do, is just go to a retreat, have them dip me in the waters, whatever they're gonna do.
Ooh, the waters.
Hallucinate. I don't care, whatever it takes.
I'm telling you, it's that ayahuasca. There was one episode of the Chelsea Handler
show off the ayahuasca.
Well, I'd never heard of it, and I watched that. Chelsea Handler had something. She had a show, I think, or something, and she went down there and did, like, they recorded it. She went down with two friends, and they were in like this hut type thing, and they whatever, smoked it or whatever you do, and hallucinated, and they were throwing up. But they came out, they said it was the worst experience, but they came out cleansed. Like they felt like they'd seen all their sadness and their trauma, everything that they had been repressing came out. And so it was a crazy experience, but they left there feeling renewed, I guess you could say. And so that's interesting. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't believe in that stuff. And it's so funny because I went to Peru and people are always like, you tried ayahuasca? Hell no, because I don't know that stuff. Like
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I wasn't trying to get beamed up just yet. And so I just did like nothing physical. Like it was nothing physical. It was all mental. And this ritual, like the guy does a tea leaf reading and stuff. And the only thing physical is they throw some would look like what's that water? Rose water. I mean, not rose water.
Yeah, like some kind.
Yeah, like a cleansing water. They threw it on you. That was about it.
They're not spitting on you, right?
This was before the pandemic too. And
I feel like that's something though. I feel like
that
in the Philippines. That pastor. But I feel like that's something though. I feel like my mom's told me, she tells me all kinds of stories about stuff they do in the Philippines, but there's healers, faith healers, I think, that will spit on you. Like a healing thing, like there's all kinds of stuff. And I think it's really interesting that she talks about that they do back home, like certain things.
That's kind of sad though. Can you imagine being so desperate that you're willing to let somebody spit on you?
But what if it heals? I don't know if it's the spitting that's healed, but I mean, some people have been healed as part of that. Like, I feel like I can't, Western medicine, I get it. Science, I feel you, whatever. But I feel like
don't work,
people, but people for centuries have been healing themselves in other ways. And so I don't know if it's a control of the mind and a faith-based type thing, like a faith and belief in your power in your mind, or if it's magic. I mean, magic.
No, look at animals. They surviving without no vets. Like everybody's surviving in these, like in life before Western medicine.
Or the will to survive.
There's a will too, but there's also Western medicine and Western life makes you sick. It's a death-driven culture of life.
Yeah, here we go talking about the culture again. But yeah, I agree. This is not a healthy way to live the way we live. Like I should not be living the way I'm living, like the TV, sitting in front of TV for hours, or overweight because I can't stop eating cookies, that type of stuff.
That's mine not overweight, like overeating out of anxiety and stuff like that, lack of control.
See, it would be if the commune, girl.
Yes.
I
looked at some fat camps. I'm like, do I need to go to a fat camp?
Stop. They still have fat camps? I feel like
that's what I'm saying. You talked about the ayahuasca, like all these things are fine. But what happens after you go home? Like, I don't think that's a lasting effect. Like, I don't think Chelsea Handler probably changed. She probably still messy and stuff like she was before. So what's the ongoing? Like, that's for me, like, what's the ongoing solution?
You smoke, yes, I'm gonna go whatever you got to do at home to maintain that peace.
Dip myself in the waters and then come back and be okay for a couple months.
But you've got to make changes.
You got to make changes,
right?
And you got to hold, like, will I be able to hold myself accountable to those changes, or will I fall back into the same old patterns, So that's something I think about as well. But I'm willing to try it. And I'm at this point, I'm willing, if it kills me, it kills me, because it's better than living this way. And when I say living this way, I mean, we shouldn't have this much anxiety in life. And and the way to more surrender control. Because especially being in America, being a Black middle-aged woman and stuff, it's like it's not exciting for me. And what?
The gush. I laughed too
I
hard.
hate that. Ew, I hate that. Oh, but yeah, it's not the same. I mean, it's just like that fighting thing, like where you feel like you're always gonna under siege on some end, even if you don't realize it, and it sucks. And so to way to say, I understand this is the reality. I know this is not the ultimate truth. This is the reality in which I live, and I'm not accepting that reality, but I do have to find a way to live and do the best for myself. I can't control other people, but I can control myself. I don't know how.
I just want to feel like that vacation feeling. When you go on vacation and you wake up in your hotel, you don't have anywhere to be, nothing to do. You just can lay in your bed and you just woke up. And that's that feeling of like
freedom. I noticed that myself. So what I started doing is I don't work on Fridays. Generally, as a rule of thumb. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that on in the real world, but for now. And it's just like, it changed my psyche. It's made me feel so much better just to have that extra day to unwind and decompress and not have to worry about anybody else's schedule or deadlines or emails or anything like that. Makes a big difference. And so little things like that, like what can I control? What's under my control?
That's something I'm gonna have to think about. Ways that I can carve out some peace.
Yeah, boundaries is setting those boundaries and sticking to them. And the next one for me, like I said, I'm trying to do this stuff because ain't no therapist out there. So it's like physical fitness. I know I'm not a gym person. I know I'm not. I can pay all the money in the world. I'm not going to go. I don't like the gym. I don't like the concept of a gym, being around people.
And right now,
like I want to be around that. Like I don't want to be around these people. And so I need some kind of fitness. And so it's just like, what can I do in my control? Maybe learn some dance move, learn a dance routine.
Little Zumba situation.
I'm gonna get a boxing bag. I'm getting a boxing bag and a pole. I already decided that is happening.
Okay.
And so those are little things I can do. And that'll really, like when I did pole dancing back in the day, and I only did it for a couple months at like Crunch Fitness in Park Slope. And man, that really had me my calves looking nice. I had I like to call them horse legs. I love when I have horse legs. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm on such a tangent at this point.
I don't know either. I feel like for me, physical fitness, I need to be outside. I need to commune with nature. Like I would love to live somewhere where I have to walk up a hill to go. I won't. I'm in the hills. Like I could go hiking. Hiking is very popular around here, but I'm not doing that. Like, but if I lived somewhere, like this whole idea of a commune, like if we were farming our stuff up a hillside, we had like rice paddies or like I got to pull up some potatoes.
That kind of stuff. Something. Yes.
Living like natural stuff. Yeah.
Not fake stuff that you have to do in order to make yourself do the movement you should be doing. Yeah. It just doesn't sit right.
I want an active life, not an activity to do.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Right. If I had to go do something in the farm or something like that, take care of things like that would be so awesome because it's like you're doing the thing you want to do and you're exercising at the same time. I'm not going here making myself do some repetitive activity to keep my heart alive. Like I hate that.
That's fake. That's, what, now that I think about it, to keep my heart alive, I got to do these jumping jacks. Ain't nobody like, why would I be doing jumping? Why am I lifting this thing up and putting it back down? What are we doing?
Pick things up and put them down.
But I feel like it's a lot of fake stuff. We eat fake shit. We do fake
cardboard
movements for our body. Like it's all fake. What's the real deal? Like
the real deal is out there
tilling the soil.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We try to make life easier, right? By technology and stuff. Except now you have to schedule time to keep your body fit. Like, what is that? For who?
Exactly. For convenience, the so-called convenience.
The last 48 hours have been like a mind F for me.
How so?
Everything, because my question is just why? Why is this the way it is? Why are we doing things like this?
Mm-hmm.
Who said? What's the point? Who's in control? What's the purpose?
None. I think that's like the surrender is like there's no purpose and no control. I guess you're in control as much as you can be, but you're really not. I mean, there's gonna be overlords, so whatever you want.
Overseers.
That's society, government, like there are always things encroaching on you. And I noticed this dang COVID pandemic, it's got my dang social anxiety through the roof. And it's like, I thought I had gotten over it. But now I go out, I don't feel comfortable around people and I don't trust them. And I don't feel like safe around them. And I don't mean like they're gonna beat me up, but I feel like there's some, I don't know how to describe it, almost like I'm not in the world. Like I'm not presenting in the world as I am. I'm not myself. Like, I don't know, I can't describe it, but you have to deal with where everybody else is coming from, their stereotypes and everything. You got to fight off those. And it's like, I'm tired of fighting. I don't care. You can think of whatever you think of me at this point. I'm not going to convince you otherwise. And I refuse to.
I wonder how people are so able to just move about in the world without
Right?
feeling like that. Because I
know people who you wouldn't think there was a pandemic. They live in life, partying, living life, no mask in sight.
But just know, like, I can't even imagine going places where you have to socialize or be around people without having some level of social anxiety. Like I don't know how people just go to a party and they're at a party, or I don't know how you go to a work event and you're just there without having, I have a whole prep I have to do before I am
same
around other people. And then I come home and I am drained as hell. Like I can't do it. Like I have to lay down. I can't do it. And you know what? It dawned on me the other day on Monday. My son's I had a packed Monday. And so I was rushing home to get home after doing something with my daughter to get my sons to like a activity they have. And I thought I missed it. I thought maybe my parents were taking them. And so I ran in the door. I saw their car here. I was like, yes, I made it. I can see my boys do their sport thing or whatever. So I ran in and I was like, are we going? What's going on? You know what? Why hasn't anybody left? And they were just laid up in the bed on the couch, just chilling. I was like, we need to put shoes on. And I started freaking out. Come on. Get out the door. Let's go. Because I knew it took like 20 minutes to get there. Mind you, I had like 35, 40 minutes, but I was panicking because of my situation. I need to get places early. I don't like being late because it calls attention to me when I walk into a room of existing people. I do not like that. And I don't know how to handle that. So as a result,
feel the judgment.
Yeah, or just I don't want the attention on me. I like to be there early so that people don't notice me. They just walk in and I'm just part of the fixture, that I'm part of the room. Does that make sense? That's really sad now that I'm saying it out loud. Yeah. I don't want to be noticed. I want to be sitting there.
What is it about? That's what I'm saying. What is it about being noticed that scares you?
I don't want to be singled out of anything. I just want to kind of be part
of. What does singled
the...
out scare you? What is it?
I don't know.
About singled
I don't
out?
want all the eyes looking at me. If you walk into a room late, everybody turns around like, who's this interrupting?
They better be turning around when I walk in. But
well, my thing is, I don't know if it's rude. I don't know if it's, it says something negative about me. I don't know. I don't know.
But you participated in class in law school and stuff. So how did you do that?
That's fine. Because that's what I'm there to do. But if I walked in late, that would be a different, it's a negative attention. Maybe I don't want that negative attention.
Yeah.
You don't want to choose not. So I choose, I don't want attention at all in that situation.
Okay. So that makes sense. That's fair.
But I'm putting that on my kids. I just realized like I freaked out and blew up this whole house. I was yelling at my parents, yelling at the kids to hurry up. And my dad was like, you'll get there in time. And I was like, we get there. And I mean, I get there right on time. There are people who are late after me. But of course, I'm feeling the thing like whenever the people come in late, everybody, and I was.
It's probably the goody two shoes.
Maybe.
But it's also like you should be on time. I mean, I'm never on time, but
I'm always early to avoid that. I don't like to drive with any urgency. I like to get there. I don't. Maybe that's my way of controlling the stress, but I'm getting more stress. Good for stress. But it's giving me more stress when nobody else is on that timeline.
Yeah, like nobody has that urgency.
These kids should have been ready. We got to go, Yeah. And we had time, but that was just my issue. Because I don't know.
Because you want to control it. You want to get there on time. You don't want to miss out on this stuff. I mean, that makes sense to me. For me personally, like I don't like my buildup is basically I have to build myself up to leave. And so that takes so long that I'm almost always late. And yeah, I'm almost always late because I don't even want to leave in the first place. I don't know how I make flights or anything. As I
Well,
don't
I
want to
do my
deal with
build up
people.
there. That's my thing, is I want to be there because I want to feel confident that I'm there. I made it. I'm half an hour early, but I made it. And then I got to talk myself up in the car. You can get out of the car and go into the building.
I would say I'm mostly
thing.
on time, but I'm late too. Like I'm late significantly too. And it's never, I don't know if it's because I just started working in New York. I mean, not in New York, sorry, in Los Angeles, but it was never frowned upon. Like it was like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. And I feel like, at this point, I try to be on time as much as possible, but I notice when I'm on time, everybody else is late. So I just try to be on time at this point, like just to get exactly when the thing starts, unless they tell you to get somewhere 15 minutes. Cause I notice when I get there exactly when stuff starts, I'm just waiting anyway. I'm waiting for people. And that's my anxiety.
I'd rather do that than be the person waited on.
Yeah, I don't care.
We can't start till Emily gets here. Oh God, I won't walk
suck.
through the door. I won't
then
walk
you feel
through the door.
guilty. I think you feel
maybe
guilty,
that's what
like
it
you
is.
let them down. Yeah.
I think that maybe, and this is weird, and this just dawned on me that maybe I value other people's time more than mine.
Oh.
So I don't care if I leave early and I rush and I stress myself out, but I'm not going to inconvenience you. That could be, and that's a huge problem I know I have.
That's consideration too.
But putting others' needs ahead of mine. So I don't care if I stress out and yell and whatever, I'm not going to inconvenience somebody else by my tardiness. Does that make sense? I don't know.
That makes sense. Like I don't intentionally go out being tardy, but it just happens because it's like
party for the party.
I can't function. But it's like I noticed even in the pandemic, everybody, like it seems like everything and everybody is tardy. Even
because like time isn't real anymore.
It never was, but it is real in a way. We have an internal clock.
Yeah. And mine keeps waking me up hella early.
Yeah, mine too. Mine is so weird. It's been waking me up at 6:43. Like, why is that?
I wish. Like, why 6:43? What's 6:43? Write that down and see if you see that pattern somewhere.
And the time I wake up. And it's so funny because my cats know the time because they got to eat. They know the time. They're like, all right, it's eating time. But yeah, I don't know. I have to build myself up to go places and be around people. But it's like in the pandemic, I'm not really around people. So it makes it even worse. And my social anxiety has just gotten up because there is the underlying, are you worth me risking myself in a pandemic to be around your company? And two, you just don't want to do the BS stuff that you did in the past. For me personally, like they're people like I don't want to interact with. And it's just like,
and you have the freedom to not interact with them now because you could just say COVID, gotta go. Okay, I'm not
COVID.
Doing it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
My technique is usually late, like parties, I'm usually late and early. Like I'll just end there in that middle piece. And that's it. Because it's just like
I don't even do parties. And if I do, I'm just on the outskirts. Like I don't talk to people. And that's probably people probably always whenever there's a party, like I'm not mingling. I don't talk. Like I will go reluctantly, and then I'm usually the one just standing. I'm the wallflower. Like I'm not talking to
Is it a lack of confidence or something? Do you feel like
probably I don't do I don't know how to do that.
I hate small talk. It's
like
so
what
fake.
do you say to people? Like what are we talking? I don't know you. So what kind of conversation am I going to have with you?
I don't know. You don't want to get to know them? Like I'll go to a party and I just start talking to people, but I don't like, this is what I hate about people is that a lot of times when you're socializing, it's just a show and tell or a sizing up. And I'm like, I don't care.
I don't do that.
I don't care what you have. I don't care like where you work or what, accolades. Like who cares? Well, you want a cookie? Like, how is your soul? Like, what are your interests? Like, what's some funny joke? Like, entertain me, bitch.
Entertain me.
Dance, motherfucker.
Ooh, I want to know your soul, but first you got to do a dance. Like,
right? You know, something, I don't know. That's why I always like people who just start talking to you about something just random, like in the middle, like none of that, like, what do you do? Kind of, it's just kind of like, oh, can you believe this? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. But and you just start talking.
I enjoy that. I'm not the one to bring it. I don't have that. And
I am. If somebody cute, like, I mean, that's how we became friends, probably. Like, you're pretty. And so, like, if somebody cute, I just go talk to them. That's probably wrong. But that's probably superficial and shallow.
Yeah.
I'm prejudiced. I only fine people. Hey, you look fine. Can I talk to you?
And then the thing about it too, and it's in different circumstances. Like if I'm working and I have to be social, you know, like at the events and stuff like that, I will do it. I won't like it, but I'll do it.
That's how I learned to be social.
Yeah, but like in personal stuff, like my husband's the same way. Like he's very networking. Ooh, he will just smooth talk, do the thing, right? But like he and I, when we go to a party, we just hang out with each other and just sit there.
Oh, dorks.
Just together. Yeah. We ain't even talking. We're just watching people. Because the kid has to go. It's a kid's party, maybe, or something, or like.
See, that's what I'm not ready for, and I'm even questioning if I want kids. Like, my quote of the day
for somebody else.
My quote of the day is having. Was that my fire alarm? You heard that? Smoke alarm. I might have to get that fixed. I heard something. Like, I hate that.
Root chakra.
What were we talking about? I hate that sound.
Do you want
like
kids?
Always on stuff. And I'm not watching TV. Yeah, no. So I said, I don't know. Like, I feel like at this point, having kids is child abuse. Because what am I bringing them into? Like, what am I bringing them into? You here, come suffer. Come into this shitty world. Come on with these shitty people everywhere. Come on.
Here you go. You could take your child to the zoo. I could see you going to the zoo and try and making him or her a little foodie.
Sanctuary.
Or well, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, or for selfish reasons. Yeah, I would have my little vegan
little roll dog. Yeah,
vegan roll baby. Like, come on, let's go to the sanctuary, boo. We finna learn some stuff. We finna learn some languages. You know, they be knowing about 4 or 5.
Traveling.
Yep, traveling. But that's for my convenience. You know, it's just like, dang.
That's for them too. I mean, if they're gonna be here anyways. Well, nobody has to be here. Like,
yeah. And I'm just like, dang, like it would definitely enrich my life. But is it fair to the kid? And that's the thing.
That kid could be the one to fix all the stuff we've been bitching about.
I think that's what we're programmed to think, is that, you know, you just keep reproducing and somebody gonna fix this shit we done made. This mess we done made. Somebody gonna fix it.
Oh, my head.
My head hurts. I think I may have some meningitis or something.
Girl.
Because my neck hurts. Look, I can't even keep it up. Yeah, isn't that sign of meningitis? My neck hurts.
I don't know. What you been doing? Because you got to catch that. Or bacterial. I guess you have bacterial. You need a spinal tap.
Yeah, I got to go get one, I guess.
Oh, no, girl. Don't you?
I'm going to wait for the freezer. I mean, the freezer. Oh. Oh, you okay? No. It made me forget what I was gonna say. Not the freezer. Oh, I said I'm gonna wait to see if I get a fever. That's what I meant. See, I'm losing my mental prowess. I don't know. I'm losing it.
I don't know where this episode went. It's long.
Good luck with you editing this.
Stop making me laugh. Stop making me. Ooh. I gotta go. I gotta do something. All right. I gotta do something. Ooh. Well, okay.
Good luck, boo boo.
Thank you.
Love you.
Okay, love you too. Bye.